So I'm Krishnananda, and I'm interviewing Dhairya, who together with his partner Anjori is leading seminars on Tantra and lovemaking for couples. So I would like to have this opportunity to ask him some questions so that I can get a better idea and also help other people understand what he's doing. So let's start with, why don't we start with you describing the nature of your work, as best you can.
Okay, where do we start from? Let's say, to start from, one thing is, the work is profoundly based on meditation. It's a way of bringing meditation into the relationship and into the love making. And it makes me, I'm reminded of a quote where Osho says, meditation gives love eyes. And these meditations are coming from the Tibetan Buddhist Tantra and coming from Osho's meditations. And the work is an energetic work, means that it's not psychology, we are not looking at problems. It's an approach about to saying yes to what there is. Yeah, let's start from there. Mm-hmm.
So I understand that you have a model that you use in the work. Maybe you could just describe that briefly.
Yes. It's a model that works with 3 layers, and one is, there's a black layer where we work with the instinctual part in us, the what is called actually the animal brain. That's the part in us that wants to procreate, and then we work with an emotional layer that's called the red layer, and that is, in a way, there we have all, let's say, our reactions in the relationship. That's where the conflict comes up. And then we have the white layer, which is heart and the mind. And the understanding is also that in all these 3 layers, what it is, we are releasing energy. So the procreation is, in a way, there is no consciousness, there's no awareness. That's where we just want to procreate, to make the species go on. And actually there's a lot of stuff that drives us in this layer. And in all 3 layers gets also influenced that we have our survival strategies. That's about let's say, we attack, or we run away, or we collapse. And in a way, all these 3 layers that is influenced. So it brings a lot of awareness into these 3 layers when we don't release the energy. So the intention is to start having more relaxation in all 3 layers and not releasing.
So when you're making love, you observe these 3 layers as they come up, the instinctual, the emotional, and the white would be the more meditative?
The white is the more meditative, and it's also the heart. So
okay.
it's, let's say, it's in a way that if we can keep more of the energy from the first layer and from the emotional layer, we have more energy for the heart, and the heartfulness that then comes into the relationship. So we then release that. But it's, how to say, there could be let's say there could be a conflict in the relationship about the man wants more sex and the woman wants less sex. And with the understanding that maybe for the male it's something that comes from the instinctive layer, from the procreation, that gives it a wider understanding, and it starts supporting that actually the woman's maybe no is not against the man's wanting more. And the man gets more understanding about that he has something in his instinctive layer that wants to go there. And we then, in our groups, we play with that. We actually have people sometimes be one of these animals. And then they play out these games and getting understanding through some playfulness. And also because the female has another rhythm than the male. The female has a rhythm of containing a child for 9 months when he's pregnant. The male does not contain. So it's understanding that it's different energy movements, where conflicts often becomes, it's against me, or you don't want this. And when we start understanding that in the female and the male, we have different rhythms and different energy, so we also play with that to get that understanding. So the understanding of what comes from, let's say, an unconscious animal layer in us, and that then influences what happens in our red layer. So we also play with how to bring the red layer into the black, into our sexuality, and then you can become quite creative in the sexuality then together also, when you know what that is happening, when that is going on.
Okay.